we're called by the Lord to do good. And this is something that we have all learned for years. But Jesus wants us to go deeper and to look not only at the good we are doing, but the intention, the hidden motive with which we are doing something. On the outside, things may appear to be very virtuous and can be done for a wrong motive. For example, even giving an alms, as Jesus speaks about it in today's gospel, can serve to build one's own ego up, to build one's own statue on the base, on the foundation of the other person's misery. And that's nasty. To use the misfortune of other people who are struggling, who are poor, so that now, being gracious towards them, others may see, and I can feel better about myself, and my status can increase. That's not what the Lord is interested in. One thing is the good performed out of love for someone, and another thing is there is a hidden motive that may be very sketchy, very improper in this sense. And to look deeper at our motives is one of those challenges and tasks the Lord is granting us so that we may see, wait a minute, why am I doing it? What's the point of it? Out of love for God and my neighbor, or maybe I would like to be seen, to be admired, to be glorified. You know how easily you can find out about it? If you and I, having done some good, are not appreciated or not sufficiently praised or even bypassed in given awards. I've seen on few occasions how people got deeply grieved and upset because they were not recognized, they were not applauded enough, as Joseph Stalin in communist Russia, who received 15 minutes to half an hour constant applause. Was it just enough for one of the individuals present in the huge hall to stop clapping? He would be exiled to gulags. Well, it makes us think that it's an exaggeration, but you have no idea how much we are looking for those applauses. How much we want to be out there thought well about. So the whole perspective of how things are done changes. The Lord instead would like us to be generous, definitely, as St. Paul says. He would like us to sow bountifully, so that one day we'll reap bountifully, but not in a sense that, okay, now, I was so good with you, make sure you don't forget it. Keep it in your memory. If not, don't worry, I'll keep it in my memory, and I will refresh your memory in the right time. Because that's our human nature, not to get upset or scandalized or kind of saddened by who we are, but you may find out how we operate in this world. The Lord says, surely, be generous, sow bountifully, you will reap bountifully. In what way? In a very unknown to us way, because I remember on few occasions I met people who said, look, how much I have done for him or for my family, for my kids, for my relatives, for my organization, you name it. And this is how they pay me back. And that's a very risky spot because we can get grieved over that, upset, embittered, angry, deeply resentful, and hateful at the end. Our heart can be easily manipulated by the devil, who will always make us feel a victim and point out at others as those who exploited or taken advantage of us. I recall one person who was doing a lot of good things for a specific organization. At the end, why am I doing all that if, number one, my suggestions are not being taken into account, and then I'm really dismissed on few occasions, and well, and that's one of the church organizations where there should be more charity, understanding, and appreciation. And then I said, if you continue doing everything you are doing with this intention, you will only get worse until one day you will not have desire to do it anymore, and you will be just judgmental. Think about doing for the Lord, for Him. It takes years to purify our intentions. Let's be generous for the Lord. Have you noticed how in today's gospel the refrain comes in two words: hidden and a secret? Doing things in secret in front of the Father. Why would that be like that? Because number one, our relationship is being solidified, strengthened. People who love each other have secrets in between each other, have words, actions, and gestures known to them alone, and they remain in this intimate relationship. And so, in between the Lord and us, there should be this relationship. When we do things for Him alone, and others as well, who, yes, they can find out about it, but what I'm trying to say, that the real driving force in all we do should not be the human eye that sees and then applauds and praises us, but the Lord who sees things done in secret. I've met many religious women, for example, who never end up on the front pages of the local newspapers, or there is no documentary published and made for them in the prime time TV station, because it's just not convenient. And yet they spent 30, 40, 70 years of hard work, of dedication to the poor, to the needy, to the evangelization or bringing good for nothing, we may say, on a human level. No one notices that. No one sees that, because those actions are actually denouncing us, showing that if those women and men who are so generous and so wholeheartedly and bountifully involved in their mission are able to go so far just out of love, hey, but if we do a lot of things for money and for human praise, that really pushes us to a dark corner of our selfishness. And we don't want to feel like that, so better to avoid speaking and talking about those who are so good. The Lord says, look, there is a recompense. Now, we need to ask, do we truly believe there is a recompense and a word that comes from on high? If deep within we don't believe that God truly repays, that He sees in secret, that no one may see and know the efforts, the hardships, the problems we are going through in doing some good in a bountiful way, look, we are never gonna do it with a cheerful heart. Never. Forget it. But if we have this relationship with the Lord, with our beloved, and we do things out of love for him, in secret, then we are expecting a word from him. And look, Jesus doesn't specify what sort of recompense. Maybe it's so huge and so great, so unimaginable that we cannot even put it in words. But at the same time, it is a gift that is exclusively for us, prepared by God, as our Father can only make it work. The best gift. So, what he prepares far surpasses what we can imagine and is far greater than any human appreciation and words. But Jesus says specifically, look, if you have already received human appreciation and their applauses, you lost your reward. Translating, I would say, if you already got your $100 for what you have done, you have missed $1 million that is coming from above. But in very different ways, it can be a spiritual gift so special and unique that will transform your life and those around you. The gift is huge. Over and over again, the Lord says, he will repay you. He will repay you. He will repay you. I remember even on few occasions people joking at these words. Yeah, right. Maybe one day, who knows? I want this recompense right now. But you have no idea what God prepared for you. Just to finish, I recall an experience of a person who truly worked very hard for one project in the church. And it looked like it was stopped, then he had to resume. There were many problems and all sorts of legal issues and problems with the company. On few occasions he wanted to quit. By the grace of God, he persevered. He concluded it. And then he was unfortunately partially cheated by the employer, and he was tempted even to sue. Obviously, he was filled with sadness, but by the spiritual grace he received, he offered everything to the Lord. And you know what happened? Because of that, one of the subcontractors of that big company, noticing his attitude, actually approached him and gave him a position he would have never dreamt about before. Just because seeing and observing on the outside an attitude of that man. He said, if this is how hard you worked and you did not complain, and this is what I see in you, then look, now manage my company, because I have full confidence that all will go well. And then this specific person recounts, I learned what it means that God recompensed. Not because I was looking for it or I was demanding it, but because at the end, even on this human level here on earth, God stands on your side. Without even counting what great and what spiritual gift God prepares for those who love him.